Hey everyone, it's Tuesday night, not Thursday night, not Friday night. We're coming at you on a Tuesday night. You got Mark, you got Keisha. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook. As always, share that link, share that love. Keisha, how's it going? Tuesday's got me all messed up.
Man, no pun intended when I say, oh, how sweet everything is. It has been a fantastic tournament on the men and women's side, complete with devastating losses of all kinds. And we're going in on the women tonight. We are definitely going in, showing them some love, and we're going to try to cram in as much as we can in the next 45 minutes or so. So let's get it popping, man. You ready to jam?
Let's do this.
Okay. First things first, what's going on around town? Oh, man, let me tell you. If you're a fan of college basketball and if you live in the DMV area, You are super excited right now. And that is because we are so proud of our Maryland Terrapins, both men and women's teams advancing to the Sweet 16 for the first time ever in school history.
Yeah, yeah. And if I remember right, they're both 4 seeds, right?
Um, both Maryland teams? Yeah, I believe so. I do.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's
I
wild.
believe that is correct. Um, yeah, man. I mean, it's really cool. We both know that in the '90s, Maryland was hot, and since joining the team uh, in the early 2000s with the women's team, Coach Brenda Freese, she has, did the damn thing, turned that program around, and has consistently been a winner. I might even go as far to say that the women might have a slightly better tournament record than the men
Possibly, yeah.
as of late. But let's break down. I said we were going to talk about the women. We are definitely going in, you guys, but we have to talk about this men's team. We got to talk about it. If you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So if you have not heard, if you're living under a rock, because I don't understand, especially if you're in the DMV area, how you would not hear about this, but the Maryland men had a game against Colorado State. Mark, remember we talked about it last week?
Yep.
We gave our analysis, and it ended up being one of the best games of the second round.
Yeah.
They won 72-71 versus Colorado State, and you want to talk about the golden moment for the Terps?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was, like you said, it was probably one of the best games of the tournament. It was so big that, like, not only were they talking about it on SportsCenter, but like CNN and the national news, whenever they were covering the tournament, that was one of the plays that they highlighted. But Colorado State, Maryland, they battled all game.
All game.
It was a 1-point game, and probably the most amazing bank shot ever. And have you heard this controversy about it?
About the basketball move?
Well, yeah, about the basketball move. I like that phrasing.
Yeah, and you know what? I left it off of the lineup, and I'm so glad that you brought it up because I do want to talk about it. Well, before we start talking about it and giving our own perspectives, why don't we just give the listeners a little background as to what we're referring to?
Well, shortly after the game, which Terrapins won on probably the greatest, like I said, bank shot I've ever seen, put in by freshman Derek Queen, right here from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
He, the internet kind of lit up saying, "Oh, he traveled," and it was quite amazing because in this day and age, every sports broadcast has a rules officiator and everything, and even like Ernie Johnson and them on the in between show between games, they were talking about it, and they brought in Gene Steratore, which he's
what
like.
What did he say? I'm interested.
Well, I know Gene more from like football games whenever they bring him in, but dude was like a 20-year career as a NCAA ref basketball.
Right. Yeah.
So his basketball knowledge is deep, but he was talking about how.
Hey, Mark, hold on one second. Let me just interrupt you for a second, just to clarify, so people can picture if they don't know what we're talking about. When Mark said that this guy made one of the most fantastic bank shots that he had ever seen, we're not talking about a jump shot. A jump shot. This was a drive to the basket.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's very, very important to. It's important to make a point of because of the controversy of the whole traveling. This was a drive to the basket.
Yeah, and it
I'm
was
sorry. I wanted to just be clear about that.
yeah, it was kind of I'd say just outside of the paint, between the paint and the 3-point line, driving to the
Yeah.
left side. And he, like you said, it's a basketball move, puts it up, and it somehow it hit on the backboard outside of the box, but still went in.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. But Gene Steratore, like, he's talking his knowledge and says that the dribble is stopped when the ball is like no longer in motion from like the hand cupping. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what he said, but in his very knowledgeable opinion, it was definitely not a travel.
Interesting. And just out of curiosity, I know on Ernie's panel, Ernie's team, he also has Kenny the Jet Smith
Yeah.
on there, and I'm just curious as to what their comments were. I mean, Kenny is one of the greatest guards of all time. Definitely a big deal in his day, and just interested to hear what their thoughts were.
I can't remember for sure. Pretty much
Okay.
everyone was in agreement that it was not a travel. I want to say there was one person that kind of questioned it, but yeah, everyone.
And there's a lot of back and forth on the internet with, not only of questioning if the move was a travel, but then there's this element of this is admissible in the NBA, but not in the NCAA. Have you seen any of that?
Something like that, yeah. And it all comes down
Which
how
is
the
crazy to me.
it's how the rules are written. It's wild.
Yeah, and you guys outsiders, let's not do this, okay? A travel in the NCAA is the same as travel in the NBA, same as the damn travel in AAU, same as travel in Little League basketball, even though they let them slide in Little League basketball.
Oh,
They're
sorry, it just like popped in my head, but
Yeah.
one of the greatest little diatribes, and we all know we love Charles Barkley when he talks,
yeah.
but he was like, he was definitely in the camp that it was not a travel, but he was like, everyone, they're sitting at home with their 4K TVs, they get to run it back 20 times.
Yeah.
The referees that they're gonna miss one, but they didn't miss it in this one.
Right. I mean, I think it was definitely one of those plays where you literally have to look at it frame by frame because, honest to God, I was on the other side. I thought it was a travel.
Wow.
And you like it. And here's my thing. Okay, and outsiders, please feel free to chime on this because seriously, this is the most controversial thing of the whole tournament as of right now.
Yeah.
Okay, easily. When you, I took note of you saying that Serator said, look at when he picks the ball up. In real time and watching, the replays in, regular time, not slow motion, I originally said that it was a travel because it looked like an unnatural basketball move to me. It looked as if there was a little extra. I don't know if I want to. I mean, it was kind of out of control. He was out of control.
Okay. Yeah.
I felt like because he was kind of like, kind of stumbling a little bit. And anytime to me where a move looks unnatural or if I'm watching something and that little something inside me, I guess we can call them those spidey senses that say, ooh, and I mean, clearly I'm glad that they didn't call it, but to me, it looked like a travel. It really did look like a travel to me because it looked like an unnatural basketball move. Do we have any comments on the feed?
Let me see.
I hope Harry's listening. Dang it.
Nothing about this yet.
Okay.
Got some hellos.
Okay, so, yeah, it just looked like, it looked unnatural to me. I did. I originally thought that it was a travel.
Wow.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean, this young man that went to St. Francis, which is right around the corner from me, won the game, buzzer beater. They win 72-71, like I said earlier, and they have the post-game little interview on the court, and we have the viral quote right now is he says that he's from Baltimore, and I think he also said something to the effect of "Give me the MF and ball."
That's what the coach said when they were in the huddle. He had said that, and the coach was like, "Okay, you got it." Did you?
Right? How do you tell him? You can't tell your player that he can't have it after they say something like that.
Well, I think it was the confidence that really got the coach to say, "Okay."
I mean, how do you deny that person? Like, and in tournament time, emotions are running high, and it is something to be said about a player that does that in those situations. Okay, that belief in yourself makes you far more likely to succeed or to make that basket, to make that pass, to make that catch than anybody else on the court at that moment.
Yeah. Now, did you catch the I caught the clip, but I don't know. Like, did you catch any of the press conference after the game?
I did not.
They were talking about the moment,
Uh-huh.
in the huddle, and giving him the go ahead, take the shot, and they mentioned how many game winning shots Derek Queen has made, like in his playing career. Do you know how many he's made?
How many?
One. One, and the coach said if I knew that, maybe I wouldn't have given to him.
Right. Well, we'll check it out. My man act like he did that every day, eating it for breakfast.
Right?
I mean, there's no way. I mean, you couldn't tell. I mean, and honestly, this starting five is absolutely fantastic, man. And you know that you're good when you get that famous nickname. Have you heard about the famous nickname?
No.
Oh my God, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
The Crab Five.
Oh wow.
Yes, they have reached the likes of, the Fab Five, Dunktown. I mean, they even took a picture with Jalen Rose, which is so funny. Was actually in attendance at the game, and there's a picture on the internet with Jalen Rose of the Fab Five with the Crab Five. So the Crab Five is Derek Queen, Rodney Rice, Julian Reese, Sultan Miguel, and Jacoby Gillespie, who's also been playing extremely well. Man, and when you get one of those honorary nicknames, and then it just catches like fire, you know that you have done something great,
Right.
and that you and your squad will remain relevant in NCAA history for the rest of time.
Absolutely. That's wild.
Five is so awesome, man. Next game up versus Florida, who barely escaped UConn. Man, I was on the edge of my seat watching that game because I picked them as an upset. Man, do you think Maryland got what it takes to make it to that Elite Eight?
Man, Florida, who is who a lot of people have picked to win this whole thing, and it's wild, but like you said, they almost lost to UConn, and
I mean, they did not look Elite Eight-ish to me at all.
yeah. I think the Terps are really lucky it's a Sweet 16 game, because if it was like the end of the weekend after having already played a game, they might be riding like too much of an emotional high and get drained, but they get this little rest, but they're still going to have that momentum going in. I think the Terps stand a good chance at winning.
I do as well.
I'm not going to say they will. I'm not going to say they won't, but I'm not going to predict a winner on that one, but I would not be surprised for them to win.
Yeah.
We do got an opinion on the move, on the basket.
Okay, sure.
Harry says it was a travel. He took 3 steps.
I knew he would say it. That's why I was like, what did he say? I knew it.
Though when he gets drafted in the NBA, it will never get called.
That's crazy. Now I can't argue with that. Saying that the definition of a travel is different between leagues, I'm going to argue with you about that shit. I'm sorry. But the enforcing, say whatever you like. because I watch all the basketball games. I get them all. I see wild shit every week in the NBA that makes me want to run head first into a wall.
You got to take like 5 steps to get called for traveling NBA.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, there's no disputing that, Harry. Hey, my man. So, last thing about this whole Maryland game and the Crab Five and all of the hype, let's talk about Jules in the salt box, Mark.
All right, Jules in a salt box.
Do you have a picture?
Of course I do.
My guy.
I got
You
the
even come through in the clutch.
I got the Instagram post.
We're gonna be the Crab Seven. We adding ourselves to the team.
There's the quote right there, and I really loved like the minimalist interpretation of a basketball that's on the salt
Me
box.
too. It's hard. It like sets everything off.
Yeah, yeah. You want to give a little background on the salt box and
Sure. Yeah. Jules is an artist, a local artist from the 410, and one of the big things here in Baltimore are the salt boxes. And the salt box is actually, I don't know how far back it goes, but it is extremely old school.
Yeah.
Right. Mark, I mean, this is something that they did back in the day. And Baltimore, being who we are and the charm of the city, has not let go of this tradition. So, like I said, Jules is a local artist, fantastic artist, and has become, kind of famous for her artwork on the salt boxes. Which she does is, when something strikes her, she will go around town, she'll find a box, and she will decorate the box or paint the box to make it relevant to, whatever current event, artist, entertainer, athlete, and, she's been really great with it. I remember, I believe when Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed, she did a salt box to honor her. So, so as you can see on the feed, Mark put up a picture of the salt box. I mean, I think it's absolutely, amazing that she gave recognition to this. And you know how much I love when art and sports collide, man. I mean, that was just like the cherry on top of a great day.
Yeah, very cool.
Hell yeah. Big shout out to Jules. And you know what, Mark? I feel like we should try to get her on.
Hell yeah.
Really soon, because she does have one hell of a story.
Yeah, I was going through Instagram and looking at all the salt boxes and stuff along the other art that she does.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to check her out, it's all one word, _Jules on Instagram.
All right, my man. Now let's talk about the women. We went a little bit longer on the men than I wanted to, but it's just so much good to talk about. But the Maryland women's team said to the men, hold my beer, because I'm about to do the damn thing. Double overtime thriller versus Bama to advance to the Sweet 16. We mentioned that earlier. It was insane. I watched that game as well. Very good game. Shout out to Sarah Tabiasu for hitting that 3-pointer to tie the game up and to send it in overtime. Cheyenne Sellers was an absolute monster. She had 28 points, 18 of those points scored in the second half. And, man, I mean, these ladies were absolute balling. And you know something, Mark? There's a theme with both of these teams. And I'd like to label it with one word: resiliency.
Yeah, man. Like, when people play their heart out, you just wish they both could advance. And unfortunately for Alabama, they just couldn't. Just because the score didn't go their way at the end of the double overtime. And, man, just like you said, the resiliency. Just even that last play where they 1.8 seconds left, and
yes. Oh my God.
I forget the young lady's name, but she was gonna try to drive to the basket, and she goes down, and you knew it was over, and you just couldn't help but feel bad for her because, man, they were playing their hearts out, all of them, both sides.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And even at the end of regulation for this game, um, there was a team. Oh, and I'm trying to remember what this girl's name was. Um, oh man, she was absolutely fantastic. I want to make sure I get this girl's name right because she had a hell of a game. And I thought about her when you said, you hate to see that somebody has to lose because of the performance on both ends of the ball.
Yeah.
Um, yes. Okay, Sarah Ashley Baker of Alabama. This girl balled her absolute ass off, man. I mean, honestly, balled her ass off, man. I mean,
Yeah.
when they got to the end of the period, I remember there was a foul. They fouled her, okay, and she was behind the 3-point line. And I swear to God, when they fouled this girl, I mean, she had such a fantastic game. You know that feeling when you can feel your heart in your stomach? That was the feeling that I was feeling. Like, I mean, it was just like, oh my God. Big shout out to Baker. She had 45 points
That's wild.
in this game and made every last one of those free throws to go to overtime.
Yeah.
Second overtime, excuse me.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was just really fantastic. Really fantastic. Hard fought battle. It's hard to say, which ending was more exciting. I mean, outsiders, if you want to chime in, I mean, which ending was more exciting? A double overtime win or a controversial game driving winner? Like, I mean, which one do you think?
Oh man.
I know it's hard. It's like if you say one, you're discrediting the other. But we're not. That's not the vibe or the energy we're giving.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with overtimes though, especially double overtime.
Double OT. I know. I was on the same page with you though. Definitely on the same page. So yes, big shout out to our men and women Terps. Oh gosh. A few seconds to talk about this. Maryland's next opponent. Do you know who it is?
I was just looking at it.
South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. And so that is going to be all the way lit. It's also going to be one tough ass game, and I'm going to be so conflicted because I love Dawn and I love South Carolina, and Maryland is like the home team. So
Yeah.
that goes down on Friday, I believe. It's like 2:30. It's an early game too. So if you can schedule that remote day, it'd be a good time to use it.
It's 5 p.m. now, actually.
Oh, 5 p.m. Okay, all right. Well, right after work. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great game. But let's talk about some of these other, matchups in the women's bracket. Is there anyone in particular that you want to talk about? I don't want to. Can we only have one request? Can we save USC for last because there's a lot to unpack there?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I like this UConn Oklahoma matchup.
Okay. And let's see here. UConn and Oklahoma. We have a number 2 and a number 3.
Yeah.
Okay, what's not to like with UConn? We all know how much we love Paige Buckers, and Oklahoma's had a pretty good season as well. Do you have a winner for this particular matchup?
Well, this is wild because the spread's like 14.5 points. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near that. I know Oklahoma's UConn's favored, but I think Oklahoma's going to hang. And
yeah, I think that's like hella big too. I mean, come on, you guys, we're in Sweet 16.
Right. And it seems like I only know both teams from what I've seen in the tournament. I haven't really been able to watch much women's basketball this year. But Oklahoma's been playing some great tournament ball. So to be 14.5 point underdog, I'm kind of surprised there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That definitely is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot closer than what the odds makers are saying, but who knows? They always have a damn ace up their sleeve. uh, well, I'll talk about one matchup that interests me. This number three Duke versus number 2 Carolina.
Oh, that's a shocker for you.
Right. Of course, in this situation, I have a dog in the fight, big Duke fan. It's going to be really crazy because during the regular season, these two teams split their matchup with each team winning at home. So, the big thing will be the Stars, both guards, Alyssa Usby of North Carolina against Ashlyn Jackson against Duke. Jackson had a fantastic game in the second round, and this is going to be a defensive battle. Both teams were playing great defense, and they were extremely low scoring. Of course, I'm going to say Duke will emerge victorious, but this has the capacity to also be a slugfest, in my opinion. Let me, just out of curiosity, let's see. Yeah, 5.5 points. I think that's respectable. Over under 124.5. Sheesh. I'm really tempted for the under on this because, we're getting late into the tournament. Defenses are good.
Yeah.
I just don't have this matchup as being high scoring. So that's my little spiel on that matchup. I feel like we're not even going to get to everything that I want to, but let's go ahead and give. Let's talk about this USC K-State game and matchup because I also, I want to give a little bit of love to the Orioles to end the show because season starts on Thursday.
Yeah.
But back to USC. All right. There's only one thing bigger than the "I'm from Baltimore" quote, and that is the knee injury that was heard around the world. Juju Watkins, who is basically, not only the face of her school, but also the face of the tournament, went down halfway into the first quarter with a knee injury. And, Mark, I don't know if have you watched the clip?
No, I have not.
Oh, gosh, I put it off until today because, I just felt so bad for her, and, it's gut-wrenching to watch, especially because, like I said, she's become like a tournament favorite and a women's college, basketball favorite. And, you can't help it but to think, like, not only is this detrimental to the team, but it's detrimental to the tournament. A lot of people are tuning in because of this player. And she's absolutely fantastic, rightfully so.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't get to watch much ball this year, but she has easily been like the face of women's college basketball this season. Everyone was talking about her. Like, she had some amazing games, and I think the NCAA just like kind of drooped their shoulders when she got that injury.
Yeah, see her rolling around on the ground screaming is heartbreaking. And
Yeah.
totally agree with you, man. Like, last year, you might not remember, but last year I was like, man, Juju's a bigger and better star than Bronny James.
Yeah.
For real. Give this girl her respect. But now, USC is without her. And the biggest question now, the biggest question of the Sweet 16 is, do they have what it takes to advance? What do you think?
K-State's a 5.
Yeah.
They didn't have her most of that game against Mississippi State. They still blew them out, but
Yeah.
Now kind of opposite of like Maryland men, like now they have an extra few days to like have this bad news sink into them, and how's that going to affect their play?
Yeah.
And have you seen the line on this?
What is it?
1.5 USC.
It's what?
1.5. The spread.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Especially when you were talking about how quickly the team adapted to the loss of Juju, because like I said, it's halfway into the first quarter, so they basically played the whole game without her. They quickly adapted, and they emerged victorious. And that spread is rightfully so too, because K-State, they're battle tested. They're coming off their own dramatic win against Kentucky. Okay, they have a center by the name Ayoka Lee, who is a baller. Okay, back in January, this girl set a new NCAA record. Not a women's, a new NCAA record for scoring 61 points in a game against Oklahoma.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good golly.
So USC is definitely going to have their work cut out for them. Rest is most important, even though I know anxiety is probably setting in for these ladies, and not only anxiety, but excitement. But it's going to be one, it's going to be one tough test. And they are going to have to dig deep, because with a good defense and your number one scorer out, somebody's going to step up. And I honestly don't know who that person would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, let me just. Okay, all right. You know what? We're gonna go back to the men just for a few minutes because what?
It's probably the reason I was gonna try to divert you back to the men.
Oh yeah. We're going back to the men. We're gonna do it right now. Because in the Sweet 16, not only do we have our home team in the fight, but Mark and I have personal dogs in the fight. And they are matching up. And yes, you got it. It's my Duke Blue Devils versus his Arizona Wildcats. How excited are you for this matchup?
Man, I'm excited because I am going to have severe bragging rights next show.
So you actually think they're going to be able to do it?
They matched up earlier in the season, very early in the season, and Duke was victorious. I want to say it was like 69-55, but
okay.
Arizona had a lot of problems back then, a lot of injuries, actually, early season injuries. And I'm not even sure if Caleb Love played that game, but yeah, Arizona's at full strength now. They've been looking good this tournament. Even that close game, I'm not scared. Duke, their differential on the tournament so far is like plus 65 points, and they're going to have a lot of swagger and a lot of confidence, and they're ripe to get chopped down.
Hell yeah, the Cooper flag and the gang are definitely going to be licking their chops, man. Have you taken a look at the odds for this?
I have not. I'll probably be sad.
8.5.
That's respectable.
It is, and I'll also give you something that's like a positive for you. It's trending towards the Arizona Wildcats because they open. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh shit.
Huh.
Let me back up. They opened at 8.5. They're currently at 9.5.
Oh wow.
So, looks like we're trending towards Duke. But we have a 1-4 matchup. This is going to be great. Like Mark said, it's going to be a good game. We're both excited. And I mean, there's no point in asking who we think is going to win because that is clear and evident. So, I mean, man, this Sweet 16 is going to be especially sweet this year. We are so excited, And we hope that you all have been enjoying college basketball as much as we have.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. You ready to talk about the Orioles?
Let's talk about the Orioles.
Let's give them a little bit of love. Give them a little bit of love. Oh man, this is our favorite. One of our favorite times is opening day and the first couple games of the season, and the regular season kicks off on Thursday, and our beloved Orioles will take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Boy, oh boy, did the MLB know what they were doing with this one. We have a drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody knows in 410 how hurt we were when they sent our beloved Anthony Santander off to the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, oh my goodness, this whole thing is just riddled with AL East crap. We know that, Kevin Gothman, we loved him. He was a pitcher for the Orioles. He's found a home with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's been there for several seasons. We have Zach Eflin, which we got from Tampa Bay over pitching on the bump against Jose Barrios, who did not have a fantastic season last year, I feel like. But, hey, I mean, this is who they selected. So this is going to be pretty exciting. This is exciting for the first series. I do have some concerns.
Yeah.
I do have some concerns, and clearly everybody has some concerns because the money line on them right now is minus 120. And for those of you that do not know, that's damn near even. You're like a half a step away from even.
Yeah.
So this is like a 50-50 toss-up game. And the reason why I say this, and the reason why the odds are like this, is because we've got some injuries.
Yep.
No Gunnar Henderson.
That's
no
a big
Jorge
one.
Mateo.
Yeah.
That's a blow. And,
Yep.
did you know about this Gunnar Henderson? Excuse me, injury?
Yeah, I saw
So what's the details on it?
got a notification on it the other day, Saturday when the news dropped. It's an intercostal muscle.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, strained intercostal muscle. Actually, it was strained back on February 27th.
Okay.
I guess he's been rehabbing. He had returned to some baseball activities a week and a half ago, but will no longer make his goal of being ready for opening day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there you have it. It's going to be a tough game. This is a 4-game series. You know how much we love those 4-game series, Mark. I actually don't like them at all. That was me being sarcastic. Because you could possibly end up splitting the series. I like either a win or a loss.
Right.
But, yeah, great way for us to start the season. Great way to see this kind of, new look Blue Jays. And because, we talked about it a little bit either last week or a few weeks ago. The Blue Jays underperformed last year. So, they're going to be looking to put the best foot forward in their opening series. And, I also dislike when the Orioles start their season on the road. I hate that for some reason. I'm so spoiled.
Right.
But, I mean, it'll be a great way to take a look at, what they've put together in the offseason. And, it'll be, even though we're hurt, it'll still be a nice gauge against the Orioles because this is a division rivalry, division matchup.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Just want to note that Friday's game, the second game of the series, that'll be on Apple TV Plus. So if you have an Apple TV, you get to watch the Orioles.
Yep, that is right. And Apple TV, that's kind of cool too. That the second day of the season that they get an Apple TV game because Apple TV only picks premier matchups.
Right. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, just out of curiosity, now that we've talked about it, I wanted to look at the pitching matchup. Geez, I kind of would have preferred this for the opener. We got Charlie Morton who we acquired from the Braves versus Kevin Gausman.
Ooh.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Now you see what I'm saying? Like, oof, getting little goosebumps. See him on my arms.
Got all the storylines from game one. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, so we're excited that the baseball season's finally here, and I was hoping that we'd be at full strength, but alas, the injury bug just keeps on biting.
Yeah.
But we said resiliency is a theme, and the Orioles know about that as well. So I'm looking forward to a great first series and a great season with the Baltimore Orioles.
Yep. Also on the ability to watch the Orioles tip. Well, I mean, if you're outside of the area.
I forgot to mention this. Go ahead. This is great.
I got my notification from T-Mobile today. If you're a T-Mobile member, you go in that T-Mobile Tuesday app or whatever they call it now, T-Life, and you can get your MLB TV free for the season. So I'm always good for free stuff. I signed that thing up right away.
Hell yeah, I think you might have put me D with it, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And, when we put Jana D, she signed up for the first time this year. So shout out to Jana.
Nice.
So she's super excited. And, to me, this was like the coolest thing that any cell phone provider could ever do. And,
right.
I made a joke with Jana today. She told me that she got all signed up. I'm like, off the strength of this, I will never leave T-Mobile.
Right?
I swear to God, I will never leave T-Mobile just off the strength of this MLB TV. I mean, to have access to every baseball being played with the exception of your team, because that belongs to the local market.
Right.
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's super cool to have that access because you not only do you get to see the teams, but you get to see the ballparks.
Yeah.
You get to see the difference in commentary styles and all the different little quirks and traditions that each team has. And as a result, like, I have a hierarchy now with the teams.
Really?
When it comes to visiting, ballparks. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, ones that I really want to go to, then it's ones that, I would love to hit if I ever get in the area. And then, the bottom tier of, I don't know, I'll do that one day, one weekend when I'm bored as hell with life.
Yeah. Hey, that MLB TV, they also got minor league games on there. So,
yes, they're a lot of fun.
Someone goes down for a rehab assignment, you can throw on the AAA affiliate.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So there you have it, man. There you have it. Okay, so we're getting close to time. Do we have any real world wrestling before we wrap up, or anything else you want to put out there?
Only thing on Real On Wrestling is, they're shaking out the storylines for WrestleMania like 3 weeks away. April 19th, 20th. Can't wait. WrestleMania is always great. Actually, they added like some weird event this year because they're always expanding. It's like a whole week of stuff. They have WWE World where there's like experiences and the biggest shop. And that's all there. And then, like, of course, they have the Hall of Fame on Friday, along with SmackDown. They have NXT Stand and Deliver Saturday morning or afternoon, and then WrestleMania at night. And it's in Vegas this year, so, of course, it's a little bit earlier. So Sunday after the whole show wraps up, it's still going to be pretty early for Vegas, probably like 8 o'clock or so. So this year they're adding the Roast of WrestleMania. Some other event. Yeah, so I'm like... everyone loves roasts, so this will be interesting to check out. But right after WrestleMania, is that such a good idea? I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know if it's streaming on Peacock or where they're going to put it yet. But I'm interested. A little bit horrified, but interested.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, what the hell is that going to look like?
Right. All these guys, they're going to be exhausted from working in the ring, and they're just going to sit here and listen to comedians, roast them. Nah, they're gonna be like, nah, I just want to go to my hotel and eat a pizza.
Yeah, roast this bed. How about that?
Right. But I did want to highlight the comment of all comments in the feed. John Champion, thanks for joining us. He says, I'm from North Carolina. Anybody but Duke, always. LOL.
Oh, man, you're going to be so disappointed. I'm sorry, John. Really quickly before we sign off, I got to say something about this. Breaking news that came across my phone during the show. Patriots and four-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Stephon Diggs reach a 3-year, $69 million deal.
Wow.
Houston, you supersized fucked up. Excuse my language, but what in the hell is going on in Texas? Have y'all lost your athletic minds? I mean, first you let Luka go, now you let. I know CJ Stroud is supersized pissed. He's got to be.
Right. Wow.
Or let's play conspiracy theorist. What about this injury?
What injury?
Stephon's.
Oh. I mean, if he's getting 3 years, $69 million, he's not injured that bad.
From the Patriots, they're desperate as fuck. Like, I don't know, man. That's one hell of a deal. I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't have the space to pay that.
Right?
But I mean, that's why I had to say 69 million. Good God Almighty! But wow, that is surprising.
Yeah. I thought for sure he'd get like a 1-year deal just to like show that he could still do the damn thing.
Yeah, definitely more surprising than Russell Wilson going to the Giants, and I swear that brother must hate himself. I mean, it's just I don't understand what the hell's going on with that either, man.
So you're not calling for the Giants to win the Super Bowl already?
Man, I haven't popped any gummies today yet. All right, you guys. I think that's all we got for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Turned Up Tuesday. You know how we end this show. Baltimore spread this love, yo. I'm Keisha, and I'm from Baltimore. On the other end of the line is my favorite slice of pizza representing them Arizona Wildcats. It's Mark. We are just a bit outside. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. Peace.
Bear down, Arizona.